Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the UR Pod Usage Rate. Our next preview of a Supercoach / Blitz crossover. We're looking at the Illawarra Hawks. How are we, Baz?
Hey, going well, and I've been good.
Gets me every time.
Gets you. It does get you.
Gets me every time. I've only just noticed that you've got the Jackie scarf on and the little NBL sleeve. What's that jumper you've got on?
I've got the Jackie's jumper from last year, but
Did you do that on purpose, the Jackie jumper?
not really. As in, did I mean to say Jackie's jumper, or did I mean to wear the Jackie's jumper?
Say it. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. Maybe we save this for the Jackie's episode. But,
yeah, righto. Let's move on. Illawarra Hawks. Who are you going to keep an eye on over the Blitz, mate?
Well, there's a guy which I'm not sure why. Sometimes when you do your Google searches, you can't find too much information out about him. And this kind of surprised me with two players. One's from Kings and one's from the Hawks.
Yep.
And it is Gary Clark from the Hawks. So there's some things I liked here. And these are not fantasy related. I quite like that he played with Okafor. Gio Okafor. He played.
I thought you meant Mecca Okafor.
No, he's not that old. Shabazz Napier and Kenneth Fareed, which some people are asking, where's he gone? Well, he's gone to go play with Gary Clark in Mexico in the G League, and he's put up decent numbers. And that's like sometimes you question the legitimacy of the league that these guys come from. Mm-hmm. Earlier in a few episodes ago, you mentioned about Jamal Franklin, and he was playing in the Filipino league and putting up 2K stats. So this guy's playing in the same team as what were ex-NBA players, who some of those guys played decent minutes and decent roles, and he's put up good numbers. So he's a rebounder who puts up about 20 points, 8 rebounds, shoot 40% from three. So all that sort of stuff there is translating for me to a good fantasy game. He is obviously 277, price of that import spot, but based on import reliability, I think that you know he's come from a good league, so therefore you know he can play. And if he puts up anything remotely close to his G League numbers, he's going to go up in price. So that's why he's on my radar. Hasn't been a lot of info about him, not a lot of hype. Maybe that's because he's at the Hawks and they haven't been too successful lately. But coming in, I think that is definitely one to watch.
Yeah, interesting one. I like your point about knowing that they come from a credible league as well. I can only help think about Craig Randall last year, though, who obviously put up big numbers in the G League, but was a headache of a teammate. Do we know anything about
that? Never spoke to the bloke, so I can't tell you. I got nothing. I got nothing on the character side of things. I guess the other thing is he's been to 5 NBA teams as well.
Yeah.
I think it was Orlando Magic. I have to check these stats here, but that was where he played his most minutes, and he still averaged 3 boards, even though he was only playing limited minutes there. So I think you're going to get the rebounds from him. It might take a few away from Froling, but you look across the board. Harvey for a shooting guard is definitely not a great rebounder. Robinson and Blanchfield, they could steal a few boards from him, but I definitely think the majority of those come from Clark and Froling. So they're going to be available. They're going to be up for grabs, and hopefully he's a good character. Hopefully he's a nice guy. But that is a good point. That maybe the ego comes with him as well. Who knows?
Yeah, potentially. I think though, if you're playing that many, would he play like 18 minutes in 2020 for Orlando across 35 games and averaged 3.5 points, 3.5 boards? So when you're able to do that not so many years ago, you think he would be a pretty solid player in our league. Yeah. Two guys that I'm pretty big on.
You got a few. You got a few highlighted.
Yeah, I'm high on the Illawarra Hawks. I've got them finishing 4th, so I'm real high on them.
I like it. Something different.
They're well coached. I loved watching Justin Robinson in the Blitz last year, and then it was just really unfortunate he got injured after one game, and that one game was against Sydney as well. So he had 20 points, 8 assists in that game. He's another one that's been on a handful of NBA teams. So I think it's only going to be a good thing for them. As do we say as good as Tyler Harvey's been? He's been at Illawarra for a few years now. He had a down year last year. I think that's because he had to have the ball in his hands more. He's definitely more of a shooting guard. So I think Robinson's going to be given the ball a lot. Everything's going to sort of run through him as opposed to through Froling and Harvey this year. So if he's averaging 20 and 8, I mean, I know that's only a one game sample size, but you're looking at 36 points just out of those two statistical categories.
Yeah, I think it shows a bit of faith that the Hawks have in him, that they obviously brought him in last year and missed the whole season, and to bring him back this year obviously shows they've got a bit of faith in him. They could have either cut him or not renegotiated a new contract with him. Like, that would have been an easy choice and gone and looked elsewhere. Obviously, they're high on him if you're putting in that time to get 2 years out of him. I think last year the Hawks' offense was pretty much everyone else go and sit in the corner and Harvey and Froling go and play pick and roll.
Yeah.
And eventually ended up with about 5 seconds left on the shot clock and Tyler Harvey's chucking them up from half court. So that was pretty much what happened last year. So I think you're right. Things will change there.
Yeah, I think they've got a good coach. And last year they were doing what they had to do, keeping the ball in Harvey and Froling's hands, because I don't think the coach trusted anyone else to have it in their hands, which is probably fair.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think Todd Blanchfield is a watch. Obviously fell out of favour at Perth last year. He was at Illawarra 3 years ago now, and he was a pretty solid player there. Had a few games of 20 points, so he's definitely someone that can put the ball in the hoop, and he's pretty solid all-around player. He'll get you 3 rebounds, 3 assists a game, and he's only priced at 101, and he's also got that flexibility. He's listed as a forward and a guard, so I think if you sort of compare him to someone, I'll use Rocco Zakarsky as an example, even though he's a centre, but he's priced at 115. He's 17 years old. He's never played professional basketball. Todd Blanchfield has played for the Boomers, has scored 20 points a heap of times that I've watched him play in the NBL. He's back in a better situation. He's only priced at 101 and he's got the flexibility. So I think he can be a really good pick.
Yeah, and he recently had a massive game and won that NBL 1 championship on the hardest court to see. I did send you a link with that to the worst court in the world, where it looks like they're making 3-pointers when they're doing layups, but it's actually the netball line. I think
it's got character. It's got character.
I think it's the worst court ever. You get it for free on NBA 2K, I reckon.
Looks like our school gym. Yeah, you're right. He did have a huge game, didn't he? So he's in pretty good touch over the off season. And then the other one that I'm pretty big on at a rookie price is Lockie Ulbrich. He's also got that flexibility of the forward centre, and he's priced at 69. So he's powerful. He can shoot the ball. He's a good rebounder, and he's dirt cheap, nearly as cheap as you can get. So with only Peatling's their other backup big, so I think he's going to get a few minutes, probably 15 minutes a game. So I think he'll only up in value being priced at that low of a point.
Yeah, well, I think as you mentioned that being those low price players, if they can find or create some minutes for themselves, then you're going to see the value. I think probably from my perspective, I had Bannon earlier. I think these two are probably in the same boat, and it'll just be you probably taken one of them, and you just hope you get it right with which one.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to sometimes, isn't it? It's just like it is a little bit of luck.
Oh, absolutely, luck and a bit of strategy.
Yeah, we'll be taking a real close look at those couple of guys in the Blitz.
Yeah, I really like. I think what you mentioned about the Hawks, I think a lot of people might avoid these guys because they've struggled over the past 2 seasons. So
they made the
sometimes
semi-finals 2 years ago.
Yeah, but obviously the last 2 seasons they really struggled to win. They've kind of been that team has been a bit of an easy win.
Just last year. Yeah. Definitely just last year. You can't be in the semi-finals. Can't win a game in the semi-finals if you're if you're an easy beat.
Definitely last year then. Definitely last year.
Yeah. You're probably right though.
Maybe that's why.
I'll see your point.
Yeah.
Right,
that's good.
We'll leave the Hawks there and on to Melbourne United. Next episode. Bye for now.
Sounds good. Bye now.